About here?
Yeah.
Up here somewhere? Should we put a garden here? Hey farm friends, my name's Georgia from Grow My Goodness here in the beautiful Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. And today we are expanding the market garden. Let's go. Before we get into actually starting our new plot, I wanted to talk a little bit about the current garden and where we're at with that and the reasons why we've kind of decided to expand now. So we're right in the middle of winter, and something that I have just learnt very recently is that you need a lot more growing space if you want to have a consistent supply of vegetables during the winter. I planted some things too late, some things didn't germinate at all, so to have a huge amount of space planted before winter kicks in so that we can be harvesting beds every week. We're not able to replant the beds right away. They'll have to wait until spring to be planted again, so that's kind of why we need more space for growing in the winter. Looking forward to spring when we're going to start growing our flowers. We've really enjoyed growing the flowers over this past spring and summer, and we're probably going to be doing a lot more of the flowers this season, so having that extra space so that we can have beds dedicated to growing flowers for the full season, like zinnias, which stay in the beds for the whole summer, and having space to do the veggies as well. Come in, I want to show you something as well. I've talked about this in a couple of my previous videos, but we've kind of got this problematic area just here. So these beds, they're not producing well, they're patchy, and this area, it really is a work in progress. I mean, worst case scenario, we might be looking at digging these beds out and replacing the soil, but having some extra space so that we can work on this area but still be producing good quality veggies and flowers for our markets while we work on this area. Another reason is weed management. Because realistically, I don't have the time to be out here every day pulling weeds. Every now and then we do get a bed that just seems to have a lot of weeds in it. For us, it's a lot easier just to cover it with the tarp and kill off those weeds, let it sit there for a couple of weeks and let the tarp do all that work of removing the weeds, and then plant it again later. So having the extra space allows us to do that, but we can continue planting and continue producing enough veggies to still go to the markets. And speaking of the markets, currently we're going to one farmer's market a week. We have increased our production there, but I really think if we could increase our range and increase the amount of veggies that we're taking, we could really do well at that market. With everything that's going on in the world, the price of food is going up, and I feel that, you know, people are really looking at changing their way of shopping. We've got our plot A just here, plot B the next one down. We've got some land a little bit further down that way, but we've decided instead of heading down, we're actually going to expand up this way. We're a little bit closer to our glass houses, to the shed where all of our tools are. We've got reasonably good access to water up here, so it's probably the next most logical place for us to expand the garden. We've got some baby avocado trees that we've just planted just last year all around the perimeter of this area, so it'll actually be such a nice little spot when these trees grow up a little bit. It'll be, yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to approach the building of this garden slightly differently than we have in the past. We're going to do a true no-dig garden bed. So we're going to probably start with marking it all out. We've done a little bit of planning before this video this morning, just doing some measurements and mapping it out. We used Google Earth to help us figure out the space and how many beds we were going to fit in here. I am going for a slightly wider path. So down in our other beds, we've got 30 centimeter paths. We're going to add 10 centimeters to that, and we're going to do 40 centimeter paths, just to make it a little bit easier to access, and so we can fit our harvest crates in the path as well. Our beds are going to be 14 meters long, 75 centimeters wide, which is the standard bed measurement across the whole garden. If we've done our measurements correctly, we should be putting in an additional 24 beds, which will give us a total of 62 beds in the garden. We had quite a bit to consider when deciding where exactly this plot was going to go. We kind of had to consider our avocado trees and our shelter belts and making sure that we still had enough room to get vehicle access up here. We get our compost in, we get it on the back of our trailer, so being able to drive the car up around here to drop the compost off was important. We have some room over the other side where we can still add some more beds, but we'll get to that later. We're just going to focus on one plot at a time, one bed at a time. One of the things that I talk about a bit on this channel is, you know, making the garden a really nice place to be, a really nice place to work. And I actually think that this garden has probably got the best view on the property. We've got a shelter belt growing down the bottom there, but just over the top of it, we have this amazing view of the Kaimais, and I can even just peek through to the estuary down there. It's just a super cool place to be. We've done all our measurements and we've put our 4 corner pegs in. We had to do quite a bit of measuring back and forth to get the right angle, you know, and measuring the hypotenuse of the triangle and Pythagoras theorem. I'm not going to explain it, just Google it. But we've got our perfect rectangle shape. We're going to put our weed matting around the outside of it and then get started. Okay. Oh, my arms. This is really hurting my arms. Okay. Oops. Right, so I've got weed mat, staples, scissors, and we're just going to put this right around the border of the garden. So I've got all the weed matting down the perimeter of the garden. We have managed to get down enough cardboard for 2 beds today. I've wet both sides of the cardboard and then laid it all out, tried to cover the grass and the weeds completely. I went and picked up a trailer load of compost yesterday, and yeah, basically we're just going to put a big layer of compost on top of this cardboard and we'll be ready to plant in here.
Like it's got a little wood in it.
Nah, it looks good.
How much was it?
128.
Okay.
So it's a bit more expensive.
It's a bit more expensive, but it's organic, yeah?
Yep.
It doesn't look like it's got a lot of wood in it.
No, they did have, the fertilised compost was cheaper, but
Yep.
you said organic when I left, so that's what I got. It was like 98 for the other one. We got our compost from a different place that we normally get it. It was a little bit more expensive, but it is organic compost and it looks and feels really nice. It's quite fine, super cool. Yeah, I think it's good. It's ready to go. Okay, we've got to get the rakes. The compost is down. We've put some wood chip in the middle. We had some wood chip left over from pruning our avocado trees. So this is about 6 months old, this wood chip. We managed to get 2 beds done. We were hoping to get 3, but it was just enough compost to get 2 done. So 2 beds ready to go. I am going to start with a cover crop in these beds. Before I go, I wanted to say a huge thank you to all my subscribers. I just got recently 1,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Grow the veggies. We people, supply, demand. Yep, okay, yeah, no, I've got it.
I think I need to take this off you.
I like having things in my hands. Is it like a little bit threatening me standing here with a hammer?